you meet people that you've really admired for a long time, it's kind of embarrassing at times because you do become, a bit of a fan. You do kind of lose yourself. I'm sure you've all been the same when you've seen someone in concert and you can't quite believe, can you, that they're there in front of you. I think it must have been very similar way back in the 1950s when those huge Hollywood stars came over to the provinces over here in the United Kingdom. People, like Jerry Lewis, Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland, and there they were, popping out of the screen quite literally on your local stage. I mean, I think that's why Judy Garland was so successful way back in April 1951 at the London Palladium, because, people who saw her told me that, well, we'd only ever seen her on a screen and suddenly she's real right there in front of us. This happened to me when I met one of my all-time favourite actresses, the brilliant, much missed Honor Blackman. And I have to tell you, she was as beautiful in the flesh as she came across on the screen. And looking back at some old tapes and pictures and stuff like that, it's incredible, isn't it, what you find? I actually met Honor way back when she was doing a show at the Criterion Theatre in London. And she was doing this thing called Dishonoured Ladies. And it was all about women of the past who'd had a sort of been dishonoured, whatever you might call it now, maligned, that sort of stuff. It was a wonderful show, But what I found afterwards was that Honor was incredibly shy. Now, for the rest of the world, Honor Blackman truly came to prominence all thanks to the wonderful TV series The Avengers. Yes, Kathy Gale, remember that? And then let's not forget that she became Pussy Galore opposite Sir Sean Connery in Goldfinger, who she said to me was absolutely the most beautiful man she'd ever met. I think Honor secretly had fallen a little bit in love with Sir Sean Connery. She said the scenes in the haystack were not difficult to do. I'll leave it there, girls. Do you know what I'm saying? But on a more serious note, I didn't realise this until listening back. That way back, Honor Blackman, of course, had played a part in none other than the Second World War, because when she was just 15 years old, she signed on, all thanks to an ad via the British Home Office at the time, and she became a dispatch rider. She told me that she was inspired by none other than Princess Elizabeth, because she said, I'd seen the footage of her, doing her sort of army work and thought, well, if it's good enough for her, I'll have a crack at it too. I said, were you not nervous? And she said, no, she was going through London on a bike with all the doodle bugs going around her, bombs crashing down, but she saw herself as something of an actress in a movie. She said, nobody actually thought this is quite dangerous. I'm only 15 years old. She thrived on it. She told me that really that was the kind of inspiration to push ahead with her acting career. And of course, she soared ahead brilliantly. Really came to prominence opposite, of course, Kenneth More in the very best, I think, Titanic movie from 1958. But when you look at people's history, you do realise that they've done far much more. In later years, Honor Blackman became a neighbour of mine, and it was strange because even at a very advanced age, she would zip around in her Mini Coupe, going at some speed, I might point out, always waving and tooting and making sure, of course, that she caught the eye of all the guys. She remained glamorous to the end. What I wanted to share really with you is the fact that whatever people appear to be, there's always another story. And for all of us out there, we all have a story. It just needs to be unlocked. Who knew that Honor Blackman was in fact a dispatch rider in the Second World War at a very young age of 15? What do you do now? She would make James Bond proud, wouldn't she? New Sean in the very heart of London.